Using global variables in a function. How do I create or use a global variable inside a function? How do I use a global variable that was defined in one function inside other functions? Failing to use the global keyword where appropriate often causes unbound local error. The precise rules for this are explained at unbound local error on local variable when reassigned after first use. Generally, please close other questions as a duplicate of that question when an explanation is sought, and this question when someone simply needs to know the global keyword.
You can use a global variable within other functions by declaring it as global within each function that assigns a value to it. Since it's unclear whether globvar equals 1 is creating a local variable or changing a global variable, Python defaults to creating a local variable and makes you explicitly choose the other behavior with the global keyword. See other answers if you want to share a global variable across modules.
If I'm understanding your situation correctly, what you're seeing is the result of how Python handles local, function, and global, module, namespaces. Say you've got a module like this. You might expecting this to print 42, but instead it prints 5. As has already been mentioned, if you add a global declaration to func1, then func2 will print 42. What's going on here is that Python assumes that any name that is assigned to anywhere within a function is local to that function unless explicitly told otherwise. If it is only reading from a name, and the name doesn't exist locally, it will try to look up the name in any containing scopes, for example the module's global scope. When you assign 42 to the name _my_global, therefore, Python creates a local variable that shadows the global variable of the same name. That local goes out of scope and is garbage collected when func1 returns. Meanwhile, func2 can never see anything other than the unmodified global name. Note that this namespace decision happens at compile time, not at runtime. If you were to read the value of _my_global inside func1 before you assign to it, you'd get an unbound local error, because Python has already decided that it must be a local variable but it has not had any value associated with it yet. But by using the global statement, you tell Python that it should look elsewhere for the name instead of assigning to it locally. I believe that this behavior originated largely through an optimization of local namespaces. Without this behavior, Python's VM would need to perform at least 3 name lookups each time a new name is assigned to inside a function, to ensure that the name didn't already exist at module/built-in level, which would significantly slow down a very common operation.
You may want to explore the notion of namespaces. In Python, the module is the natural place for global data. Each module has its own private symbol table, which is used as the global symbol table by all functions defined in the module. Thus, the author of a module can use global variables in the module without worrying about accidental clashes with the user's global variables. On the other hand, if you know what you are doing, you can touch a module's global variables with the same notation used to refer to its functions, modname.itemName. A specific use of global in a module is described here. How do I share global variables across modules? And for completeness, the contents are shared here. The canonical way to share information across modules within a single program is to create a special configuration module, often called config or CFG. Just import the configuration module in all modules of your application. The module then becomes available as a global name. Because there is only one instance of each module, any changes made to the module object get reflected everywhere. For example, file config.py. File mod.py. File main.py.
Python uses a simple heuristic to decide which scope it should load a variable from, between local and global. If a variable name appears on the left-hand side of an assignment, but is not declared global, it is assumed to be local. If it does not appear on the left-hand side of an assignment, it is assumed to be global. See how baz, which appears on the left side of an assignment in foo, is the only load_fast variable.